Alrighty, what's up everybody? On this video, I'm going to be watching one of my replays, and kind of the goal of this video is to kind of help facilitate you on how you can go over your own replays, because something that a lot of people, or that I heard a lot of people say over time is that, you know, if you want to get better, you know, in your wins and your losses, you have to look at, you know, go back, watch your own replays. You know, if you win, watch your replay. If you lose, you know, watch your replay. And I guess when I heard that originally, I thought to myself, like, you know, when I go back and watch my replays, what do I look for? What do I do? Like, you know, how could that be helpful if I already can recognize what was good, what was bad, at the time of the game? And I think after I decided to like learn DOTA, get good at DOTA, I think there's a lot of, you know, benefits to going back and watching your own replays if you kind of go through, you know, some specific thought processes to, you know, help it, you know, be worth it, and, you know, facilitate that. So here we're watching a game as Disruptor, and this is a game that I just played earlier today, and this is a game that I felt that went really, really well. And I think there's, you know, improvements to be had in watching both replays that, you know, the game went well, as well as, you know, the games where things didn't go so well. This one, you know, I feel like I played well. You know, we ended up winning, but I want to go back and see if there's anything I could have done better, and see, like, in retrospect, you know, I'm gonna watch my plays and everything, and ask myself at certain times, like, you know, are there things I wish I could have, or are there things I wish I would have done differently? So first things first, it's important to note, and this is, you know, I'm just going to kind of take you guys through my thought process here. I'm asking myself, okay, what's my lane? I'm a Disruptor Bounty Hunter lane, and, you know, the lane we're going up against is revealed, and that lane is going to be a Witch Doctor Juggernaut. So I know, looking at their lane, is that together they're really strong, because whether, you know, Juggernaut, or excuse me, not Juggernaut, but Witch Doctor could level his cask to set up for the Juggernaut spin, which is bad, or Witch Doctor could get his Maledict, which could, you know, basically greatly amplify the damage done by the Juggernaut spin. So either way, you know, they'll obviously play different based on what he scaled, but in general, that's what we're looking at, right? So I know together they're really strong. However, obviously Juggernaut's going to be, you know, dicking around in the lane, you know, farming and whatnot. And Witch Doctor and I are going to be dancing around out here, you know, ultimately, because obviously if the lane's in their power pocket, you know, Witch Doctor's going to try and block me from pulling. If the lane is in our power pocket, obviously I'm going to try and block pulling and whatnot, right? Anyway, so you have to look at both the duo matchup as well as the individual matchup, as far as, like, you know, what your opposite position is. So in this case, my opposite position is the 5 being the 4. I would say the opposite of the 3 is the 1, because obviously that's who you're going up against, right? But looking at my matchup with Witch Doctor, I know he's very, very weak level 1, right? Because if he gets his paralyzing cask, I'm next to no creeps. What's that going to do? 50 damage and a 1-second stun? Okay, that's pretty weak, right? And my Thunderstrike does 180 damage level 1 with the slow. So I know my ability's better than his as far as, like, harassing and whatnot. And beyond that, I think our base stats are pretty similar. And then I'm also going to look at the starting region. I have 2 Tangos and a Salve, and I see that Witch Doctor has 6 Tangos and a Salve. So basically my idea is, like, I know that we're going to be decently even as far as harassment and whatnot. However, Witch Doctor will have better sustain than I do in the lane. However, I know if I can just kind of, like, you know, harass him and keep him low, then that's going to be important for me to set up for this first pull. Because basically, if I sit here and auto attack him, and he's sitting at like 200 hit points prior to the pull, he's not going to feel comfortable to come up and contest his pull. And my goal is to get this pull out right at you know, the first time that I can pull. And, you know, in the off lane here for the position 4, this pull from this hard camp is going to be 118 to pull it here and drag it out over there. So that's why I'm positing aggressively and not going after the Juggernaut. I'm going after the Witch Doctor, because I know if I could wear down this Witch Doctor, either one, I'll force him to use a Salve, which is going to be a good thing, or I'm going to be able to get the pull off, and then the creep wave is going to be in our power pocket, and that's obviously exactly what I want. So that's why I'm, you know, playing aggressively here. But I know before I could get this pull off, there's some downtime that I could basically throw out some harassment. I could help Juggernaut with some of the some creep aggro, pulling our creeps back, get him to attack our range creep, and that'll, you know, naturally push the creep equilibrium in our favor if I didn't get this pull off. But it's kind of, you know, regardless now because I ended up getting the pull off, which is good. But anyway. So I got the pull off. The creep was in our power pocket. Bounty Hunter's doing a great job to make sure that we keep it there. And yeah, this is excellent. And at this point, I'm expecting myself to kind of play over here and to contest these pulls. Oh, that's big. Okay, so this is another good point. Oh, actually, that's also important as well. So this is important because the reason why I like to put my ward specifically right here in this corner is because if you put your ward right here in this corner of the camp box, there's only one spot where they could put this ward that will block this ward, and that's basically right there, right in front of that tree, like right on the line to where it's not blocking your own camp, and that'll just crest over this corner. But the reason why I like putting it there is because, you know, supports in this bracket will they will, you know, usually either start with a sentry or buy a sentry to deward this, since I always deward this, or excuse me, I always ward that. And putting it right there, basically, if they don't know about that spot, if they don't get lucky to stick their ward like down here, they'll place it somewhere over here, and that'll basically force it to buy another sentry, which is really, really big because that's, you know, cutting out from, you know, their ability to buy region, you know, life region or mana region, and, you know, to continue to contest this, right? So here's another thing, is that I'm specifically playing over here for two reasons. One, obviously, if Witch Doctor was trying to pull the small camp, if he would have dewarded this earlier, I would be in a position to, you know, stop that pull. And also, while Juggernaut's farming this big camp, I could basically kind of take pot shots at him because he's trying to farm this creep, and he's basically, he's missing out not being over here, right? Because he's not getting this experience and gold from these creeps that are basically underneath our tower, so he's over here jungling, right? And he knows that he's going to be attacking and hitting something to get that golden experience. So if he's not attacking and getting, you know, the creep or the gold from this creep and the experience from this creep, then he's major losing, right? So I know he's really committed to killing this, so I'm just going to sit here and just take pot shots at him because I know he's in a position where he has to do this, right? And another reason why I'm super, super confident with positioning myself right here is because I'm looking at, you know, their heroes and their combination of spells, right? And I know that Witch Doctor is much stronger now because he has his Paralyzing Cask plus Maledict. I know Juggernaut's also 2 now, right? However, I'm super, super confident to stay here and to actually, like, I'm literally not afraid for them to go on me at all because I know if Witch Doctor throws his cask at me, even if the Juggernaut spends any Maledicts, they have no way to interrupt my TP after this Paralyzing Cask. I know they have to commit the Paralyzing Cask on me to set up the combo. So if they set up the combo, I'm just going to TP out and they can't do anything. So that's another reason why I'm playing aggressively here. Just having knowledge of the game, having a knowledge of how they're trying to, you know, there's another big thing. I know, you know, I've played against enough, you know, I mean, just through, like, game knowledge and just playing Dota, like, I know that there's a specific way which Dr. Juggernaut's going to set up their kills. That's the only way they're going to be able to set up a kill on me. I know after, you know, Cask is used, they have no way to disable my TP. So I'm, at this point, I'm just like, honestly, if they want to go on me, I don't even care. I don't care if they go on, because if they want to commit those resources to me, I'm just going to TP away, and now they're really losing. So now they're just dumping a whole lot of the resources on me for when I know that they're not going to kill me regardless. And I guess that's, you know, all that was kind of, you know, leading up to this point. You know, they throw the Cask, get the Maledict, spins, but guess what? I don't care. And now Witch Doctor used 2 spells. Juggernaut uses spin, 40-second cooldown. Our creep wave is in front of our tower. So far this lane is just going absolutely impeccable. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to, you know, doing another covering another game where the game isn't going as well for us, because I think it's important to kind of, you know, be critical of yourself in those moments, right? But so I didn't die. I TV'd back to base, and honestly, when I was here in base, I did ask myself, I'm like, okay, I'm back in base. I'm doing a full reset. Where should I go on the map, right? And I know that I was having a really big impact bottom. The lane is still in our power pocket, right where we want it to be, and there are still things I can do to keep the lane in our power pocket and continue to make this lane, you know, to continue to keep this lane as well as it's going, right? So I decided to run back bottom because I'm going to continue to position myself right here in the jungle and put myself in a position like right here to block this pull and block this pull, right? And I also, you know, I also peeked at the other lanes here, and I knew that it probably wouldn't be worth it for me to, you know, gank either lanes because, you know, in this lane, it's already in, or the creep wave's already in the power pocket, and mid, I just didn't really feel like I had, you know, enough abilities to set up for a kill on this puck, so I realized, you know, bot's definitely where I need to be. So they were able to get a pull off, and that is going to reset this creep wave back more in their favor. So I'm aware of that. So I'm gonna, you know, definitely look to find a way to, you know, and honestly, like, yeah, sure, we get a kill here, but in my head, this kill doesn't even matter. Like, that's just an overextension from Witch Doctor, not really kind of underestimating the power between Bounty Hunter and I. My biggest concern right now is just getting this creep wave back here right in front of our tower. So with that Witch Doctor dead, probably the biggest boon of this was not so much the golden experience, but more so the fact that I was able to pull this wave. And I'm going to, you know, basically, I don't think it's going to do a full reset at the equilibrium, but just by nature of these creeps killing this creep and not these creeps, just by nature that that's less time attacking the enemy creeps, and it looks like our wave is starting to push back forward underneath our tower. And that's completely my goal at this point. Now that's, you know, it's cresting into the, you know, 430 marks at this point. Excuse me, let me drink some water. At this point, it's 430. At this point, I'm still level 2, so I'm not thinking about rotating exactly at this point. I think I have 2 big power spikes coming up. I have a power spike at level 3 where I get my second point Thunder Strike, and I have a power spike coming up at level 4 when I get my second point, or my first point Glimpse. So at this point in the game, I am thinking about the possibility of rotations here around the 430 mark, because I came back bottom from my TP. I was able to have another big impact, kill the Witch Doctor, get this pull off, and help facilitate the equilibrium coming back underneath my tower. I am thinking about rotating potentially. I'm not going to rotate until I feel confident in that, but that is something I'm thinking about at this point. I'm constantly looking over here at the different lanes and thinking, okay, I'm getting to that point where I could be a big impact in a rotation, you know, specifically. And honestly, there are certain points in this game where I have some more key points that I want to make. At this point, I'm not really sure what I'm thinking. But let's, you know, kind of see how things kind of play out here. Witch Doctor is, look at this. Witch Doctor has had to purchase three Sentry Wards, and look at what he's left. This Witch Doctor has nothing. It's a Wand, Fury Fire, Observer Wards. Like, this dude has nothing. And that's because I focused my attention. I knew that if I played well, I could basically get, you know, I'm, you know, stronger than, I could be stronger than him if I played my cards correctly, since our hero matchups were pretty even as far as, like, our opposite positions being 4 and 5. I knew they were pretty even, but I knew if I played well, I could have an advantage on him. And just through just clever ward placement and, you know, pick him off when we get opportunities, you know, now he's in this position where he's really in a bad spot. Now, it's also something really funny. This is something that I wasn't even thinking about at the time. Just 20 seconds ago, I was talking about how at this point, I'm going to start looking on the map, looking at possible rotations, because I know I'm going to be hitting power spikes coming up here. And look at this. we have a rotation from Mirana. So as early as 450, we're already seeing the breakdown of the laning stage as we're kind of progressing into the mid game. I'm not sure if I die here. Okay, I do die here. But I'm not totally offended by that because, you know, they brought 3 down here and Witch Doctor still, or not Witch Doctor, but Bounty Hunter did get a return kill. Now this is really, really important. So I'm not going to let myself respawn here. So this is one of the things that's important for you in your games to ask yourself. So when you die, especially now that it's like cresting into the mid game, you have to ask yourself, okay, I just died. I have a full reset. Where am I going to go on the map? And now what I like to do personally is just pause the game right 1 second before I revive. Just take a screenshot of the minimap. So just basically just take a screenshot of the minimap, you know, the entire game at large, and I'm going to ask myself right now, before I honestly don't remember where I went after this death, but right now taking a screenshot of the minimap, I'm going to ask myself, where should I go? So now that the game is paused, I'm not thinking about this, you know, in the spot. I'm going to look at this more critically and see if I made the right decision, to see if my pattern recognition of the minimap in the game is still kind of, you know, in sync with a more in-depth analysis of the state of the game as it is now, or if my pattern recognition in game is still in sync, you know, with the decision that I come up with now that I have time for, like, you know, analyze it more in depth. So let's go ahead and cut out the other team's Fog of War to specifically get to see what I'm seeing.
The prize is mine.
All right, I'm gonna let myself go back to 1 second here. All right, perfect. Screenshot right here. That freaking ping down there is kind of obnoxious. Maybe I'll just stop it at 3, so I have
the prize is mine.
Ping. That ping's really annoying, actually. Okay, whatever. This is good enough. All right, so I just respawned. I don't know where I'm going. Honestly, I don't remember where I went, but I'm going to look at the minimap. So I see Wraith King jungling, still level 4. You know, I see that Wraith King probably, if Wraith King's jungling at this point, I know the lane was hard, and he had to retreat to the jungle early. So that's something I'm keeping in mind. So top lane didn't go well. He's jungling, and just from me looking at the minimap, before this, I saw basically Hoodwink sitting in the lane and taking this experience in farm because Wraith King just didn't even feel comfortable sitting there, right? So what would happen if I made a rotation top? I would play with Hoodwink when she's not really on a power spike against a Slardar that's obviously won the lane as sitting really strong. So at this point, they're perfectly fine up here with Hoodwink taking the farm. I'm kind of protecting the way to get to Wraith King, taking the safe farm. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, top's a no-go. And now I'm going to come over here and look at mid. I see that Puck is level 6, so Puck is definitely on a power spike that my Wraith King is not. However, I am also thinking to myself right now that Puck could be wanting to potentially get aggressive on Wraith King, since she does have her Dream Coil at this point. However, would I kind of facilitate, would I go mid to help this Wraith King be aggressive before he's ready? I don't think so. So I think at this point in time, I know my best bet is to go back bottom and continue playing with this Bounty Hunter, because by going bottom and playing with Bounty Hunter, I'm going to apply pressure bot, which is going to attract attention from the enemy team to come bottom. And that will relieve pressure from this Hoodwink that might be vulnerable, this Wraith King who's, jungling, as well as this Arc Warden that is obviously, at this point losing mid. Now he is, gearing up to get a Midas, so he has big, comeback potential here. But I know that we won our lane, we're strong bottom. I want to continue to draw more attention bottom to us, so I think right now, my play is to go bottom. Now let's see what I do. And I go bottom. Oh, wait, do I? Oh, no, I'm going bottom. Okay, perfect. And I'm also saving my TP, because another thing that I'm thinking about, because I did look over here and I recognized, okay, Puck is 6, my Arc Warden is 5. I didn't recognize that, so I intentionally, normally as the position, as support, you shouldn't ever TP somewhere on the map after you die, but in this case, specifically, I did not because I knew if this puck was going to make an aggressive move on Arc Warden, I needed my TP to respond to that because I know that if puck dove or was aggressive underneath our tower potentially, even though we wouldn't be able to get a kill if I were to TP mid and like make an aggressive play, like if puck was in the middle of the river, I know that if puck was making an aggressive play on my Arc Warden under the tower, then me being there and me committing a TP could have a big impact. Alright, so let's see what I do here. Am I going to stack this camp? I don't stack that camp, so that's a big blunder. That's just something that I definitely, you know, let's go back a second here. This is a big mistake. I definitely should have been looking at the minimap and being aware that I literally just could have like hit this, just walked, literally not even changing my direction, just, you know, come over here and just, you know, stack that on my way out. That is a mistake, and I'm actually going to write that down. Be more aware of stack timings as I'm like moving around the map, because as a support, you will be moving around the map a lot. And if you're walking by a camp and you're in a position to stack it on your way of going wherever you're going to go, definitely do that. So I'm writing that down to take note of that. Now, I am not sure why I am going top. Oh, I remember why. So I was moving bottom to play with my bounty hunter. However, my plan was to go bot, be aggressive, apply pressure with bounty hunter, but I realized that my Wraith King obviously didn't have a good lane. He's just sitting here just farming jungle, and I was kind of concerned with his safety here in the jungle. I noticed that Hoodwink was busy farming, not buying wards, so I took it upon myself to buy wards. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be seeing my courier out to me here in a second. Yeah, this is me here with a ward. So I'm going to take these 2 wards and basically ward the jungle for Wraith King to give him better protection. Because at this point in time, I realized that, okay, yes, I do want to be playing aggressively with Bounty Hunter bottom. I want to draw the enemy attention there. But Wraith King is very, very vulnerable with absolutely no vision to protect him here in the jungle. So I just kind of weighed the odds. I realized, okay, I need to go ward for Wraith King right now, and that's why I made this rotation over here. But just by nature of that, Puck decided to be aggressive on Wraith King, and I was, boom, right here, ready to roll. So this is a really, really, really nice turnaround for us. We end up getting a kill on both of the heroes here, and then I basically, you know, being a good support, I had a clarity and a salve. Mid was low, just boom, guzzle, you know, just pop those to him. That's, you know, your job as a support. But going back to what happened here, obviously it ended up working out that I was just kind of walking by there, you know, meandering on by on my way to set up these wards. But one point that I will say is that, like, if you are just being very, very intentional with all your movements on the map, because when I came bottom, I had a very specific reason to do that. Now, obviously, I ended up kind of wasting my time with that movement bottom because I ended up not even being aggressive with Bounty Hunter at all. However, I realized, you know, in kind of my, you know, weighing of what I should do, that warding the jungle was critically important. And I think the point I'm trying to make is, if you're being very, very intentional with your movements and rotations, and just kind of like making your decisions based in just elements of just fundamentally good Dota, even though me walking by was a coincidence in a lot of ways, I think that you will find yourself in a position at the right place at the right time more often than you think. Because something I was thinking about in this game, something I mentioned earlier, is that I knew Puck was probably going to want to be aggressive since Puck, you know, first hit 6. And I'm at a bracket at this point where people know if I hit 6, I hit my power spike, I need to be aggressive. So I knew Puck was probably thinking I need to be aggressive. I need to, you know, expend my Dream Coil, I need to be aggressive. You know, because the bottom line, if Puck isn't dropping her Dream Coil every time it's off cooldown, that's, you know, she's not maximizing, the hero. That's something I was thinking about, and just by nature of me, running past, I was able to catch the puck in her first moment of aggression against my Wraith King, and to kind of hit this point home one more time. If you are making your rotations and movements and decisions rooted in good fundamental Dota, you'll just find yourself at the right place at the right time more often. So, and when you look at that, so I ran across mid, helped keep my Arc Warden alive. We were able to get 2 kills. Planted this ward, boom. So great vision. So now we have vision of them going up this ramp, this ramp. We have vision of them going up this ramp. And then I intentionally placed my other ward over here, so we have vision of them going up this ramp, right? And now look where I find myself. Able to basically help my team, what's the word I'm looking for? Relieve pressure from this aggressive play that they're making top. And it's so funny that it took so much time, making that, that point just a minute ago of if you're just making good, if your decisions are rooted in good fundamental Dota, you'll just find yourself at the right place at the right time more often. Here we are. I realized that these wards needed to be planted. I found myself right here, and then boom, I'm right here, ready to go, right in time for this aggressive play. And honestly, it doesn't even matter if we get a kill here or not, just the fact that they got together and they exerted their time and resources to be up here to make an aggressive play. By me being here, that completely diffuses this pressure, because this was an intentional move on their part to come up and apply this pressure, right? Me being here, this is not intentional. I didn't make any sacrifices to be here because this is where I was going to be anyway, right? So, yeah, it doesn't even matter that we were able to get a return kill, or not even a return kill. Like, we didn't get a kill off this. Just the fact that they committed resources, just time, resources to put pressure here, and they got nothing out. That's a win in and out of itself for us. And now at this point, we completely subdue this aggression that they had. I have these wards perfectly in place to keep my Wraith King safe. And now at this point, I'm not sure what exactly I was thinking in this moment, but at this point, I'm definitely wanting to consider going bottom to continue to apply pressure on the opposite side of the map as my Wraith King. So let's see what I do next. Okay. Oh, look at this. Okay, they're going to get a kill here. Okay, but I think we're going to get a return kill. Okay. Nice. I do die here, but the puck commits the dream coil, which I'm not completely offended by, actually, because that's a pretty weak kill for what she should be getting with that dream coil. And even beyond that, that might have even saved me a TP, because I was wanting to go bottom anyway. So now that I'm dead, I'm already back at Fountain with a full reset, and now I'm going to be in a position to go bottom again if I want to. And here I go going bottom. And this is the real big benefit of potentially reviewing your own replays, is that you could kind of go through your mental heuristics, because the way you approach Dota in game isn't going to be always completely aligned with your actual full knowledge of Dota. And going back and reviewing a replay like this can help you think back and be like, okay, what was I thinking about in the game at this time? And is that still aligned with the correct decisions I should be making? And, I think at this point, if I'm watching a replay, I have enough Dota knowledge where I could be critical of myself and be like, all right, I could take a screenshot of the minimap right now and ask myself, where should I be right now, right? And I can, look at all the factors in the game and make a more informed decision. Obviously, when you're in a game, you don't have the time to just, pause the replay to look at all the factors. You just have to make decisions on a whim. Use that pattern recognition. So going back and reviewing replays like this gives you an opportunity to see if your pattern recognition in game is aligned with and more analytical perspective that you can gain from going back and watching a replay like this. So I was wanting to go play bottom, and this is perfect because now my bounty hunter is going bottom too. So, like I said, like making your decisions with this good fundamental Dota in time. Now I'm in the perfect position of where I want to be. I'm on the bottom side of the map with this bounty hunter, who we're strong with together. I see that nobody's mid. So obviously in a perfect world, I would want to be down here playing with bounty hunter or playing pressure bottom with bounty hunter. But since nobody was mid, I realized, all right, nobody's mid. Someone needs to take this golden experience. So even though this is where I want to be, just by nature of the fact that none of my team is here in the mid lane, then changes the quote-unquote right place for me to be from bottom to mid. And that's why I made this rotation mid. Alright. I don't think he's going to kill me here. Because I was intentionally playing pretty passively because I knew I wasn't seeing puck reveal on the map. I probably could have dodged that dream coil, to be honest. Maybe, maybe not. Would have been potentially pretty tough to dodge that. Again, that's a death that I'm not totally offended by. Okay, unfortunately I kind of missed the timing. This is honestly one of my favorite things to do when I'm going back and watching a replay of mine, is after I die, that's always a critical moment in the game, because your next movement from there is typically going to be pretty critical, right? And obviously I just saw myself going top, but I'm going to explain why I decided to make this rotation top. The reason why I decided to make this rotation top is because I'm level 5, but I just bought the tome, so I'm going to be level 6. And also notice that my Hoodwink is level 6. So, don't get me wrong, Slaughter is really strong right now. I mean, he could be stronger. He bought a hand on Midas, right? But Bracer, level 8, he's pretty strong right now, right? However, I thought to myself, he's going to be a lot to take down. However, he's going to be a pretty important target to take down. And I know I'm hitting my big power spike with my level 6 and my Static Storm. Hoodwink is hitting a big power spike with her Sharpshooter. I know that my abilities coordinate with Hoodwink because my static field, limiting the range that Slaughter can run, is going to set up very, very nicely with her Sharpshooter. So I'm thinking to myself, it's going to be a tough get, but if we play it perfectly, one of two things are going to happen. We either kill Slaughter, which would be big, or we'll expend all of our abilities. We'll expend our abilities applying pressure. We may not get the kill, but at least we're setting that aggressive precedent. And this decision to go top is also informed by the fact that I see mid lane pushing in and bots way pushed in. So this honestly seems like just the in general right play through multiple perspectives of how you could see the game. Alright, I'm pinging. I'm telling him, here I come, baby. I'm probably, alt-clicking my Static Storm at this point. And this is important because I'm telling him, I'm coming top, I'm going to be aggressive. And at that point, Hoodwink was already starting to throw out spells on auto attack to kind of, wear down Slaughter a little bit in anticipation. And that's what good communication can do. Because if I just TP top, and didn't communicate that Hoodwink was coming, she probably wouldn't be expending that mana, those auto attacks to wear him down. We probably would not have gotten this kill. And even though when I play my games, I pre-mute everybody because I don't care what people have to say to me, I still realize it's important for me to communicate my intentions with my teammates because Dota being a team game, that communication is important. So I don't care what they have to say to me for the most part, but it is still important for me when I'm playing to communicate, to one, be positive, but to two, to also communicate what I'm doing. And the fact that Hoodwink took that time to kind of wear down the Slardar is going to set us up to get this really nice kill here. And look at that. We could barely get it, but man, that was a really, really big kill. A 4 and 5 taking down a super farm Slardar, like that's big time. So I pulled that, just getting a little bit of farm. Kind of have some downtime. The waves are pushed in. And at this point, I was thinking about playing aggressively top, but I saw once bot waves starting to get pushed in and no one was wanting to respond to bot, I'm like, all right, then if no one else is going to respond to bottom, then I'll just go ahead and respond to bottom. At this point, I'm pretty sure Bounty Hunter literally has like an Orchid, I mean, a 13-minute Midas Maelstrom for Arc Warden. That's a pretty good deal. And honestly, going into this game, I was kind of worried because even though Arc Warden can be aggressively, he's super farm dependent early on. He needs to get a good start to kind of play the way that he's supposed to play. So I honestly, hold on one moment. In a lot of ways, I was kind of worried about this game because Arc Warden was going to need quite a bit of farm. Wraith King's obviously going to need quite a bit of farm, and in general, having two heroes playing more of a one-position farming role could kind of make it difficult to play Dota in the traditional way that you want to play Dota. So, but the fact that Bounty and I had as good of a lane as we had bottom, and we both made so many impactful rotations around the map, is facilitated the space that Wraith King and Arc Warden needed to get their initial items, even though Wraith King's still farming as he should be because he's kind of the one. Now my Arc Warden is in a position where he has a lot of levels, even though he doesn't have a lot of items per se with stats that would make him strong. He's strong just by nature of being, he might be the highest level in the game. Yeah, 13. Significantly higher than them. I mean, he's strong just by nature of being a higher level. And this game wouldn't have gone nearly as well as it did unless Bounty and I did as good of a job bottom as we did. And kind of going back to what I was saying a second ago about, like, I think it would have been really interesting to watch this game and analyze this game for myself if bot did not go well for Bounty and I, because this would be a totally different game if we also lost that lane bottom. Just the entire approach to Dota would be totally different because instead of being aggressive and applying pressure, playing where I want to be on the map, the focus would be more on playing away from them and playing wherever on the map they don't want to be, right? But by nature of us, being in this advantageous position, we should be playing aggressively and leveraging that advantage that we have. ITV bot because the wave is pushing in. Yeah, man, yeah. I mean, at this time, the game's pretty much over because, yeah. I mean, Bounty is Orchid. Arc Warden's in a spot where he can't really die. Wraithian's in a spot now where he can't really die. I'm just continuing to just be on the map where I know I need to be, and I know that that's going to continue to facilitate these just things occurring in the game more naturalistically, that just work out. And honestly, I don't think I'm gonna cover too much more of this replay because I think that we won this game in the first 15 minutes. Like here now, it's past 15 minutes. None of the rest of this really matters now because the decisions and the way we played in those first 15 minutes set up for all this that we're about to see. I'll probably, go through a few more team fights and maybe talk about a little more about what's going on here. So I'm playing bottom with my Bounty and Hoodwink, naturally because my Wraith King was top a second ago and Arc Warden Illusion was mid. So obviously, there were supposed to be we're playing down here to basically draw their attention bottom so that they're not harassing, you know, Wraith King and Arc Ward, you know, farming the two other lanes. So, you know, and by nature of all the lanes pushing in, I mean, this is just fundamental Dota. By nature of all the lanes pushing in, they're spread thin, right? But they're also having to respond to the pressure that we're applying down here, like the actual, I guess there's like, you know, map pressure, and there's more, I guess, like forceful pressure, right? And the map pressure is just the creeps pushing into their towers, and then we're applying this more forceful pressure down here, just by nature of our heroes, you know, down here being bottom, and they're super weak, and you know, we're just continuing to you know, exploit that and take advantage of that, and you know, this is just going, you know, exactly, you know, the way it's supposed to be going right now. I honestly don't know how they destroyed that ward. Oh man, was that Envision actually? Huh. Huh. Man, that had to have been just on the cusp of that parameter. Yep, and we're continuing to take good fights, continuing to push the lanes in. I was thinking about chasing this for a little bit, but eventually I just said fuck it and realized we weren't going to get him. But
Radiant's middle tower is
honestly, at this point, covering the rest of the game isn't too important. I hope that me going over this replay of mine, one, gives you a perspective on kind of, I guess, the quote-unquote immortal mindset of Dota, but also give you a perspective on, like, what are things that you can ask yourself and what are things that you can look for when you're reviewing a replay of your own game, and whether that's a game that's, you know, that you won or a game that you lose. Obviously, this is a game that I won, so these are the things that I'm kind of being critical of and asking myself as I'm watching a replay that went well, that we ended up winning. And probably in the next iteration of this, I'm going to look at a video or look at a game that did not go well, and you know, being critical of myself and talking about, like, what I could have done differently in the context of that. I hope you enjoyed this, and hope that this was informative, and I'll catch you guys next time.